Hi everyone, welcome to Pass Pointer number 1, Getting Started. My name is Ira Walfish and I'm a co-director along with Michael Levi of the Professional Accounting Supplementary School, PASS for short. Since 1989, we have been preparing students for the UFE, teaching both in-house courses for some of the largest accounting firms, as well as a public course geared to students in smaller and medium-sized firms. We are very excited about offering these short mini videos or pass pointers to help you in your studies. We know what it's like studying for this exam. We both did it. Our job is to take our experience and use it to help you get through this process. First time, sanity intact. You may feel like this at the moment, but at the end, this is how you'll feel. Because the good news is, it is very doable. While the CICA is not releasing pass rates, it is commonly accepted that the pass rate for first-time writers on the UFE is approximately 75 to 80%, and maybe slightly lower for repeat writers. Those are pretty good odds. Furthermore, the flow-through pass rate is a whopping 90% plus, which means if 10 students write the UFE this year, at least 9 of the 10 will ultimately pass. What does this mean? Once you've made it to the UFE, you totally have the skills to pass. The statistic does not lie. The trick is doing it right the first time and just be part of the overall group. Okay, how do you get started? Let's look at 3 points. Number 1, what does the UFE look like? Number 2, how do I study for the UFE? And number 3, a sample study plan. What does the UFE look like? The UFE this year is September 10 to 12, 3 days. The first day is 1 question, 5 hours long, called the comp. Day 2 and 3, 4 hours each day, probably 3 questions per day, called multi-simulations, between 60 and 90 minutes each. The reason they are called multis is that each question tests more than one competency. So what is a competency? The UFE tests 6 technical competencies. Most of the technical competencies are self-explanatory, but I should point out that number 2, performance measurement and reporting, includes financial accounting. The non-technical competency, pervasive, is your basic communication skills, writing professionally, playing the role, etc. You can also see that they are not all equal. PM and assurance are the biggest, and governance is the smallest. So that is the basic structure of the UFE. So how do you study for the UFE? Firstly, you need to recognize this exam is very different than a typical university exam. You are not simply being tested on technical. In fact, the exam is open book. You have the Handbook and Tax Act on your computer in the exam. What the exam is testing is a new skill called case writing. You're playing a role, say an external or internal auditor, and responding to a situation. In your response, you are drawing on your technical skills along with your judgment and analytical skills to come up with the best response possible. This means your study approach is a dual approach, part technical studying and part practice case writing. Where do I get the technical and cases from? Well, if you're in one of our courses, you may have a technical publication we put out, like the Financial Accounting Technical Review 2013. Plus, you may have the handbook and university notes on the different technical competencies. Real UFE cases can be obtained from your institute's website, and simulated cases are provided in the PASS course. You might find it helpful to prepare a study plan. I'll show you an example in a minute to make sure you will cover everything between now and the UFE. Lastly, students often wonder, should I work alone or in a group? It is a very good question. Most students who write the UFE do work in a group. What this entails is usually meeting with your group once a week and writing a case together and then marking another person's answer. The 2 major benefits of a study group are, number 1, motivation. Especially in the winter and spring, you end up being more motivated when you know your group is meeting and writing cases. And number 2, by marking another person's case, you tend to be a little more objective than when you mark your own. However, while most students do work in groups, there are still many students who don't and pass the UFE. The point here, think about the issue, understand the pros and cons, and then you can make an informed decision that is right for you. Speaking of study plans, check out an example. This study plan is for the average candidate, laid out week by week. You can see some weeks are technical studying, say February 4th to 10th, while other weeks are case writing, say February 11th to 17th. Here is a summary of hours where everything gets totaled. I'm going quickly here, but feel free to look at the bottom of the homepage of our website, www.passufe.ca, and check out the sample study plans, which are much clearer. We also have multiple versions, including plans for Indian or Pakistani CAs. The whole idea is to personalize the study plan, make it useful, and stick to it. So there you have it. Now you know, number 1, what the UFE looks like, number 2, how do I study for the UFE, and number 3, what does a sample study plan look like. Have a look at our website for a bunch of information on courses, study plans, etc. Since this is past pointer number 1, we'd love to hear feedback from you. What do you like, not like? What other past pointers would you like to see? We will be adding a bunch over the next few months. Sign up on our website under past pointers to be notified of future presentations, or follow us on Twitter at PastUFE and we'll let you know when a past pointer comes out. Michael and myself are very accessible. We're here to make this process as easy and painless as possible. See you at the next past pointer.